Greetings, everybody, and thanks for coming out to the Champlain College Living Learning Commons. We've got a great panel of speakers this afternoon, and I want to just tell you how this event came to pass. Actually, it was about 2 years ago that I was talking to Stu Butts, who's a member of the first class to live in Champlain a few years ago. And we were talking about principles of liberal arts education and how we have a deep belief in the value of liberal arts education on the job market and in the economy. And I joked about doing something titled, "You Can Succeed in Life Despite Your Mere Liberal Arts Education." So that's the subtitle that I have in mind as we're doing this. But what we have is 4 panelists coming from very different paths in life and ending up in very different places. And they're going to tell you the story of how their liberal arts education was the thing that led to their success. And maybe you can relate to that yourselves. For me, this is a hugely important topic to me because in the popular media, jokes that end with, "Do you want fries with that?" are standard tags for people with English degrees. And I have 3 English degrees. There's actually, and it's more of a myth than an actuality. The facts are there to show that people with English degrees and history degrees and traditional arts educations do succeed even on today's job market. It's not easy. Not everyone succeeds immediately, but people can and do find their paths. My path went something like this. And in fact, my mom is always my monitor of popular media's opinions. So it was my mom who said to me, Michael, you're so smart. Why are you an English major?" And I said, "Smart Alec," at the time, still. "I'm an English major because I'm so smart. I'm smart enough to do what I want to do and where my heart is." And at the time I said, "And I don't care if I ever get a job." My path went like this. In truth, I was in denial about being an English major. I was declared as a business major for many, many years just because so many counselors told me, "Don't bother trying to be a teacher. There won't be jobs when you graduate. Don't bother trying to be a writer. There won't be jobs when you graduate. But I see you've got a minor, tiny proclivity toward business. You better be a business major." So I was declared as a business major for many, many years. And it wasn't until one day I got fired from my job selling ladies' shoes. And my retail career was ended. And I had the good luck of that very day a professor inviting me to apply for a scholarship to go and study in Cambridge, England for the summer. And I pulled together the self-esteem and wherewithal to apply for that scholarship. I got that scholarship. It was that professor's mentoring and motivation that got me to go over to Cambridge for a summer. And it was there in that 800-year-old liberal arts institution that the project of a degree in English seemed to make sense, seemed to be a legitimate way to follow one's life. I read a Virginia Woolf novel on the way over to England that summer, and that Virginia Woolf novel became the final chapter of my dissertation when I did my PhD. And I met friends who affirmed what I was doing and how I was thinking. And I met people who eventually gave me my first job in university administration as a study abroad advisor. So that moment was the magical moment of validating the education that I wanted to do that led to my so far 30-year career in higher education and my PhD. I'll give you, that's my narcissistic moment of introduction. Now, the real people who are going to tell you the story of their pathways. We have 4 panelists from a spectrum of different Trent years, starting with Sheldon Willerton. Thank you, appreciate it. Sheldon graduated just last year with a bachelor's degree in history. He served as president of the Trent Central Student Association for 2 years and is now quite successfully employed here in Peterborough, and he'll tell you about that. Brittany Cadence started at Trent in about '89, and Brittany did a bachelor's degree in Indigenous Studies and in history, and she'll tell you the story of how that Trent combination of degrees led to her success. She's now the Director of Communications for the Peterborough Public Health Unit. Robin Quantick is a member of Trent's Board of Governors, and for 25 years, he worked with people that no one else really cared about. These were people in federal prisons, and he provided support so that they could get education within the prison system. And the people he met with there and the credibility he established has led to some remarkable things in his life, including now working on a PhD in Indigenous Studies here at Trent. Stuart Butts, Stu, will be the fourth speaker today. And Stu, as I mentioned, is a member of the first class here at Champlain. Did politics and econ, is that right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And has had a very interesting career as an entrepreneur and has followed many, many different paths. He's now working on commercialization of nanotechnology. Imagine that, from an arts degree to nanotechnology. And he grows hops to make beer. I will not introduce each speaker. I'll just ask each person to pass the mic to the next. And once again, thanks for coming out, and thanks for joining us for this discussion.